we're excited. We've been talking now. I'm now right at the point. I don't even know how to start this conversation. I'm quite happy this is on camera now because I've got really nervous and excited at the same time.
I was going to start this by saying, so Wes, what other future adventures are about to happen? Good point, Kurt. This is what I was going to say. So Wes, start us off. Have you got anything in the pipeline that may be coming out soon?
So I'll just be direct about this, shall I? Right?
Yeah.
Do you mean Fint?
I mean Fint. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So very, very excited, and obviously
the sponsor of this podcast, as you've probably heard on every single episode, Fint, the financial investment app. But take it away, Wes.
3 portfolios, investment made easy for you guys.
There we go. It's almost like you're involved.
Yeah.
Very, very cool to have you guys as co-founders with me in this exciting investment app that we're building. And again, if it's okay, I'll just give a bit background about why, where it came from, and really that comes from some of the stuff I was saying earlier about education, which I keep going on about. But it was what I saw through 2020, 2021 in terms of from 2 sides, one negative, one positive.
Yeah.
The kind of negative one really was what you saw with meme stocks. The meme stock thing, and elements of cryptocurrencies like Terra Luna, and you saw those things and being and really kind of almost to a degree kind of coercion through things like Reddit boards where you've got Wall Street bets and where you've got people pumping stocks like AMC and GameStop is probably the biggest example. You know, a stock that if I jump on my terminal now and look at, there's not an analyst that's put a recommended buy on GameStop for decades.
And never will.
Exactly.
Unless there's another pump.
So the only reason that stock was rising was because people were saying buy it as attempting to be a bit of an, excuse me for saying it, a bit of an FU to Wall Street.
Film comes out later.
It does indeed.
This year, I
that's
believe.
right.
It looks very interesting, that film.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely give
timely.
that a watch. Yeah.
But ultimately that kind of a scenario, and I got into looking at the Reddit boards because I couldn't understand why people were doing this, and do you know what? It frightened me because it was what I saw was a lot of guys going on there and saying, look, are you sure about this? I've got all my life savings in it. I'm not too sure. It started to fall a little bit. But what you'd have as the leader of this forum, it was saying, hodl, just buy it and hold, buy it to the moon, all this kind of stuff. Stick with it. No idea fundamentally why that price was the price it was, and ultimately it did turn over, and it was always going to turn over. But then that even more so into things like the Terra Luna breakup and what happened when that broke off from its anchor.
And if people don't know, that's kind of fundamentally. I can't even. I don't even know what to actually call it because it was just buy something.
Yeah.
God knows what it actually is, and hope it goes up. But in reality, it went down, and everybody lost all of their money.
Yeah. And again, I won't go into like minute detail, but very high level. It broke. It was supposed to be linked to the dollar, and it broke off from that. But ultimately, it spectacularly failed. And actually, that has genuinely led to suicides and all kinds of horrific things. And that's all that's fairly negative and morbid conversation, but that's the negative side to what I saw during that period of time. But what I did look through that and saw is the amount of energy in a younger generation wanting to do something.
Actively going out
wanting
there,
to invest.
Take their first steps.
But what they're hearing and the opportunities they had were the quicker scenarios, but not the good ones. If that makes sense. But they're not gonna. They're not attracted to listen to what Goldman Sachs are saying or JP Morgan are saying. But this was more interesting. So I think it was the negative.
The gambling side.
Yeah, absolutely, and the worry about people. I don't like people being ripped off. It's not something I enjoy looking at, but also the amazing energy. So my thought process from that was, there's got to be a way of using the same methods to get your information in front of these people with all this energy and clearly some money too to do something with it, but actually with a proposition that is both interesting to them enough, but also fundamentally sound.
Plus, you always spoke about like that excitement, that the real fear for you that I don't know if you remember this, but it really hit home for me was that the excitement to do it, the initiative to actually go out and make an account, put their money into it. Maybe not hard earned if it's given to them from their parents, but not to be the first and the last of their ever stepping foot into that market again, getting scared, getting burned, and being like, well, now stocks are all bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Or think
investing's bad. I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah, think
and
about what we were saying 15, 20 minutes ago when the 40-year-old comes into the office saying, I did a pension a few years back. It didn't go so well, so I've left it alone. This is the scenario. These people
You've missed out on all this compounding interest that you would have had if you just kept that direct debit going in a... We don't want to use the word safer or guaranteed or any of these sorts of words because life is not guaranteed.
Absolutely.
But definitely doing it in a more backstopped way.
Correct.
That you've not gambling. Because fundamentally with a lot of them stocks, it was the rush, the excitement. It was a gamble.
And it got me thinking that the way I actually thought is if I could talk to these people, all I would say was, just do that with 20% of it then, 20% of your money then.
Yeah.
And with the rest of it, do something like this. If I could speak to them all, then that's what I would say. With the rest of it, do this. Because then, if that does go to zero, you're not, it's not breaking your life. Ultimately, you'll be gutted. Don't get me wrong. But it's not going to break your life. And it's certainly not going to lead you into a situation of a spiral of the ultimate thing that happened with different people. And then that's where the thought process, well, I can't get in front of I can't speak to all those people.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a way I could. And that's where I thought, well, actually, can I use all the years of expertise and the way that we discretionary manage money now, create a product that has enough of an interest within, certain areas that they're interested in and generates that energy.
Yeah.
But fundamentally underneath that is going to support them with, management and proper sound portfolios. And clearly, then discussing it with you guys who got really excited about it in terms of ideas around how we can get it in front of these people too.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, for me, always having that interest, always having that. I remember, unfortunately, I had to have keyhole surgery on my knee, and then suddenly I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to dance again. I'm never going to earn money.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm becoming a day trader on the New York Stock Exchange within a week, and then suddenly trading for 3 or 4 weeks.
Didn't quite go to plan there. Did it?
It went very high. It went very good. And then it didn't go so good. So I was probably down $1,000 or two.
Yeah.
But still, it's always been an intrigue for me. And I'm dyslexic, always love numbers, always love that kind of analytics and companies. I love companies. I've always my podcast I listen to every single day is financial investment podcast, is about how to grow companies and manage money fundamentally. Kurt, as you've probably a different side with the money. We'll talk about that first.
Well, my side of money is I love money. I just wish we all had
love
more
money
of
or
it.
love spending it.
Love spending it. That's what we'll say. And I think this is where actually my link towards this app and what wanted to get me so involved with Fint was. It was the fact that I do love money. I love spending money, but I also have never been very clever with my money. I've understood that I've always spent it, and this comes back to education again.
Yeah, I would say that's been harsh on yourself. It's
I'm not. It's the education of not knowing, but it's not being told I should put this away, and I should be thinking what I'm spending each month. It's just I was spending until the tax bill comes in, and then you realise, oh crap, that's your tax bill now because you spent that much money. Oh, I need to now repay my company back that much money because now that's a loan instead of this and that. And it's just learning about what is correct and the right ways to do it and use your money. And if you are putting it into a limited company, the corporation tax you have to pay on that. And then if you bring it into your normal company, the normal tax you pay on that if you're paying yourself over a certain amount. And you can take it and dividends and all of these things. I didn't know about all of this, so I got myself into a little bit of trouble. And now I want to make people learn about money. Very simple ways, simple things like how to find your national insurance number, how to pay your tax, how to write an invoice, a payslip.
Yeah, well, one thing for me is I think whether it's it'd be secondary school, but technically once you finish secondary school, you can go into the world of work.
Yes.
How many people leaving secondary school can tell you can explain a payslip?
Yeah.
I suspect no one.
Yeah. I would say
unless the parents are accountants.
And it's year 11s that need to start being taught.
Absolutely.
And it isn't you have to work every single day on this.
Yeah.
It isn't as much as maths, but once a week.
But the one thing we spoke about, talking to people on the streets and doing a lot more filming with different people, it was kind of like we thought education, Gen Z, obviously younger generation, they're new, they're adapting, but also it's hard for them to understand because sometimes their parents don't understand it 100%. And it's about for us, I know we're going to go on it again and again, the education side, but it's really important because you're always learning and also things are always changing, especially with the government, love them or hate them. They change quite consistently and sometimes overnight. So you can plan the whole of your year or next couple of years saying, this is what I'm going to do. Whereas actually next year it's completely different.
Well, an example of that is this year there's been a huge change in pension legislation, which is massive, really, really important.
So I can get the watch.
But with great question, no. And it has implications for lots and lots and lots of people from a wealth management perspective. But there's a nervousness about imparting advice on it because of political change and the potential that Labour have actually said if they get into power, they'll reverse it. So all of a sudden we've got a huge piece of legislation, amazing piece that we can genuinely change lives with in terms of pension advice. But there's a nervousness around it because of potential policy change if a new government gets in. So it is crazy. Difficult. So it's that constant education thing.
You try and plan for the future in so many ways, but you've got to be fluid. Nothing's ever the same. Nothing's ever guaranteed. And I think that's something that's important with what is on offer with Fint. People talk about, well, when friends and family I've spoke to, it's kind of like, well, is it a trading app? Like, are you actively going in and buying, let's use Apple because everyone knows that, buying Apple and selling Apple? Well, no, what we're offering here within this app is exactly what we spoke about beforehand. Within Iron Market itself, that kind of management of your money being moved, being looked after in a way that allows you to kind of be secure in that one aspect, but also let's talk about the three portfolios.
The simple way of just saying what AJ said is it's basically having a financial advisor, a money manager in the palm of your hand. It's having Wes in the palm of your hand for every single person out there. Yeah. That is what Fint is. As simple as that. It takes away all of the hassle, all of the stress for anybody that doesn't understand finance, doesn't understand what to invest in and how to invest in the most, I'm going to say, secure way possible. But obviously investing is always risky. You could lose your money. You could make money on it.
Capital is at risk, as Curtis.
Very good. Did that for me.
Yeah. But it's the most simplest way and the simplest app out there to invest in. And we have purely done it, like AJ was about to get into now, through three portfolios. You can go back
the
into
excitement of what you spoke about, where's that kind of people are actively into cryptocurrency and their interests. I feel like right now, young people know what they like and don't like. And I think that's a positive thing. So within the app, we offer three portfolios. Obviously, you'll take a risk, what would you call it? Risk assessment?
Three portfolios and three different risk agendas.
There'll be we've got three distinct themes in terms of what your portfolio will be themed to.
I like how the gardener comes back at this time.
Back again. He's not getting the message.
So we've got three.
Is he a member?
I mean, can we say what the portfollios are on it?
Where's going to talk us
let's say them. Yeah. So ultimately we have and what we did this because we found these were the areas that really, really interested people, in particular that younger generation who've got that energy and trying to invest right now.
And the growth within their markets.
Absolutely. And the markets themselves are fascinating and really interesting. So we've got one that's tilted towards climate change. So we will have parts of that portfolio or that theme that's aimed at things like clean water, things that are tied in with the Paris alignment. Then we've got a disruptive technology. So
I have to say one of my favorite ones out there, guys.
Buzzword of the moment, AI.
A cool one.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, it's not an insignificant point this in terms of AI. It's
we all see how fast it's growing.
Correct. I mean,
every single day you see something new with AI.
Yeah,
it's created a new language. It's created this. It's phenomenal.
ChatGPT
correct.
other AI
fabulous
to edit footage for the podcast here, to do our social media, the copy on some of the website. You'll get opinions from AI.
The speed that you can do things through it, and that's why it is such a growth, and how good it is as well. Like,
absolutely.
The actual language it uses, it learns from everybody. Yeah. And that's
but there's a whole ecosystem behind AI. You know, we look at ChatGPT and things like that, but there's a whole ecosystem underneath that of, you know, we jokingly spoke about Nvidia and who announced their results today. And you know, they're effectively a chip producer. But on the back of AI and what's going to be needed to generate that and
the amount of different semiconductors
they've blown up. That's correct.
Most people have heard of it through I can't get my car delivered on time because I haven't got enough semiconductors in it. But because I think it was different car companies, nearly 50 to 60 semiconductors needed for each car.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah. But there's no whole ecosystem behind that, and it's those technologies that disrupt an existing or general kind of area that's already there.
They challenge the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Challenge thinking, create something new. I guess a little bit what we're doing with Fint to a degree, you know, in terms of where the way the money's delivered.
But because we're using that AI, we're offering something that would usually be for the few to the masses, and we're able to do that at the opportunity of doing £50 a month as a direct debit, and gives you this. And that kind of offering is
up
something
to whatever you do want to invest in.
And that's something that we kind of feel like we want the education, we want the opportunity. I know we haven't got to third portfolio yet, but this to be for the masses, not the few. And that's something that I'm very passionate about. Like people feel like they can't do things. Or
it's harnessing that
door. It's a private members club. You're not going to get into that until you have 100k or something. That's how it feels.
How often have we all heard? I mean, you've been doing interviews on the streets, but I've certainly heard it in my career that you know, in terms of when you start talking about what you do and managing wealth and all that kind of stuff, I haven't got enough money for a wealth manager. And you know, and I understand that, and there is an element to that in terms of the complexity of what full wealth management is. But it doesn't mean you can't access an element of what's out there, you know. And I think it's about harnessing that energy that's clearly there, and having an element of interest within your portfolio. So having a tilt towards, you know, climate change or disruptive technologies, or even the esports and gaming.
Yeah, esports is the third portfolio. Curtis has not put this in for himself, but we will definitely hopefully sponsoring somebody in the future for a big esports event.
I am a massive gamer myself, always have in my life. So this is, I'd have to say, my second.
See, this was, I have to admit, this was fairly new to me. Absolutely mind-blowing.
The gaming industry.
I didn't tell you, while I was in Florida, we went out for dinner, and it was at Universal, so at the bar and grill. So they've got TVs all around, kind of above the bar, and on there, 3 of the TVs were showing
Major League Gaming.
It was because basketball season is closed. You know,
college ball.
I love basketball. Yeah. They were showing gamed basketball
NBK2
on TV. Yes, that's it. On TV. Blew my mind. But that's the whole point.
They sell out arenas now. For anybody who doesn't know the gaming industry.
I've seen the O2 and there's like these 2 kids there.
Call of Duty, bang in the centre.
And the people that bought like tickets, the whole O2.
Just there on a PlayStation or Xbox or PC, whatever it may be.
But again, just to reiterate, with that, there's a whole ecosystem behind that of companies that fund and fuel and create,
produce the graphics,
and enable it.
The software, the hardware.
That this portfolio gives you access to if that's an interest of yours.
So the 3 portfolios: climate change, disruptive technologies,
esports,
and esports. So they are the 3 portfolios. And I think the simplest way that I kind of would explain it to my friends is, say you've got £100 invested, £10-15 would be going more towards that kind of portfolio you've chose, and the other £90-85 would be going towards the same kind of more your kind of different stock shares, ETFs of what we do.
So what we then, I'll explain a bit about what we then do. So you've got the tilt that interests you and it's going to keep you interested and obviously do really well, hopefully over the few years. But behind that, what we do as part of the app in a nice and really simple and easy way is ask you a few risk-related questions in terms of how you feel, how you'd react, and that kind of stuff. And I know we're all very different in that respect. But that's really then, so what we then do is map the remainder of the portfolio to absolutely suit you. So whilst you might say, do you know what, I really want climate change, but we go through the risk elements and the questionnaires, and it pops out that you're a medium investor, we will make sure that fundamental overall portfolio is managed to what you're comfortable with, as opposed to the stuff that we've seen that's already out there, where you can go on an app and you can invest, but you're buying something, it's all on you.
So yet again, you're looking after the people that are using it. You're protecting them as much as you possibly
can. And we're managing that using our permissions. So we're the portfolios are built, actually, again, thinking about AI, they're built with algorithms in terms of how they're constructed, but they always have that manual oversight of us managing the assets, like we manage the assets for you guys and every one of our members.
Just before you go anywhere, we just want to say thank you very much to listen to Freedom Impact Trust. We love your reviews, so please do leave them, because it helps other people find us, doesn't it, Kurz?
Yes, it does. As AJ said, comment, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, share it with the entire world. Let everybody know that this is the podcast that you guys are listening to, and jot down some comments of any financial advice that you want or any questions. We'll be happy to answer all of them at the best of our knowledge. Thanks again for listening, guys. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we love you all.
Yeah, we just want to thank our sponsors, Fint, the financial investment app, where you can invest from as little as £50 a month. Yes, Curtis, £50 a month. So easy.
I like it. And don't forget that it's all within 3 portfolios. Simplicity. It's easy. Get investing, guys.
Have a great day.
See you later.